Hey guys and gals, I just wanted to make a short recording and throw some of my thoughts out there about some various things. Um, about a year or two ago, it was somewhat icy outside and it was cold. It was in the wintertime. And I noticed an older guy sitting at a table and he was eating. And I walked outside and I saw a patch of ice and it was sort of directly in front and I saw it and I walked to the left of it, exited, got in my car, and drove down the road. And I felt something prompting me to tell that guy that there was an ice patch in front of the door. So I did a U turn and turned back around. And sure enough, he was still in there eating. And I said, God wanted me to tell you this, that he loves you dearly and that there's an ice patch in front of the door. And I said, that's how much God loves you. And he said, thank you so much. He said, I have poor vision and I probably wouldn't have seen it. And he said, by the way, do you have a minute? I want to talk to you about something. And I said, sure, yeah. So I sat down across from him and he told me that from what I gathered, he was a research scientist, a physicist of some sort. And he was pretty bright and he had high level connections to people that were sort of up and at other research facilities. And he went to tell me that he had a heart attack and he had a near death experience. And he said, I got to meet the man himself, God. And he was very reluctant to tell me what he experienced and what he learned and all of that stuff. He felt like he shouldn't say anything or that God hadn't told him yet to say certain things. So he was keeping pretty much quiet about it. But he did tell me one thing, that God told him that every sickness that's on this earth, he has a natural cure for. And that's one of the many things that God told him about. He also told me that aliens come and go every day. And I kind of looked at him and thought about it for a little bit. And I never really thought much about it. And I was like, well, that doesn't surprise me because our Creator is infinite and our God is infinite. And the universe, some people think, is infinite. And some people think there's multiple dimensions and infinite realities and infinite timelines. And God is infinite, so he certainly could have created something that was infinite. And it would make sense for him to create something that's infinite. That has, look at the earth. We have multiple species, multiple creatures. A lot of the sea life we don't know much about. We've only explored like 3% of the sea. And there's no telling what's out there. And the fact that this guy knows that there's aliens based on the contacts that he has. He didn't say anything about the aliens being demons. Of course, he believes in the spiritual world as well. And he told me that he can see in the spiritual world after having his near-death experience. So he didn't see the aliens as demons. He just saw them as a natural occurrence that moves in and out every day, and they go back and forth. So, I believe in the spiritual realm. I believe in angels and demons. But maybe, and an angel or a demon in a spiritual sense, since they're spiritual, they wouldn't need UFOs to get around. So maybe there is aliens, like he said. It doesn't change my belief in the Bible and in creation and Genesis or anything like that. It just means that God is an infinite God, and we all know that he is. Beyond our imagination, beyond our comprehension. And he certainly could have created other races on other planets, or started it off, the spark that created it all. He commanded there to be life, and life was there, and all of creation followed suit and did as he commanded, because he is worthy and he is special. He is holy and majestic and infinite. He is the Alpha and the Omega, and it states that clearly in the Bible. You know, it says in the Bible that the birds of the air and the fish of the sea know who the creator of all is. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were aliens that were actual aliens or interdimensional beings or whatever, that they too would acknowledge an infinite creator. Anyways, I just want to throw these thoughts out there because so many people say that all aliens are demons, and I don't know if that's the case anymore, based on what this guy's near-death experience was and based on what he knew. So, just something to think about. In the coming days, I think we're going to find out a lot more. And a lot of things are going to be brought to light. And if there are aliens, you know, look at us, the human race. Really, the only thing that we figured out how to do or have mastered is how to kill one another. And that's very demonic. You know, if you were an alien species and you looked at us, you may think that we're the demons, because we have mastered the art of killing one another for our own gain. And that's about as demonic as you can get. Anyways, guys and gals, I love you and God bless.